In the ever-evolving theater of global politics, few narratives have gripped the international community as tightly as the confrontation surrounding Iran's nuclear ambitions and the United States' response to them. The recent revelations surrounding the leak of sensitive intelligence documents have reignited a storm in Washington, not only because of what was leaked, but because of what the White House claims it signifies about national security. Seriousness of Iran's now severely diminished nuclear threat. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt, in a stern and direct statement, made it clear that the individuals behind the leak of documents relating to U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites would face the full weight of the law. "We are investigating the source of the leak thoroughly," Leavitt stated during a press briefing. "And let me be perfectly clear. Leaking classified information jeopardizes lives and national security. The FBI is involved, and those responsible will go to jail." This response comes amid a media frenzy sparked by a recent CNN report that detailed elements of what appears to be a targeted and highly successful military campaign by the United States against Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Though the exact content of the documents remain classified, the implications are immense. According to insiders familiar with the matter, the leaked materials include satellite imagery, intercepted communications, and internal Pentagon assessments which, if authentic, suggest a level of precision and success previously undisclosed. However, the White House maintains these revelations, accurate or not, do not alter the fundamental truth that President Donald's aggressive posture to Iran succeeded in erasing what many had feared for decades: Iran's near capacity to develop nuclear weapons. At the heart of this storm is Donald's own vocal reassertion of his legacy. Speaking in his typically brash and unapologetic style, the former president doubled down on claims that his administration's actions were not only justified but entirely successful. "Iran's nuclear program is gone, obliterated," he said during a televised interview. "What we did, nobody else had the guts to do. We took action. No more talking, no more begging. We hit them hard, and we hit them smart." Critics were quick to push back, citing a lack of conclusive evidence and pointing to Iran's own dismissive responses, but Donald remains unshaken. His supporters, meanwhile, have rallied behind the claim, seeing it as further proof of his decisive leadership style and his supposed mastery of international pressure tactics. The Iranian government, for its part, has responded with typical defiance, rejecting both the notion that their facilities have been significantly damaged and the claim that their nuclear ambitions have been thwarted. Iranian officials have dismissed the leaked documents as propaganda designed to shift global opinion and bolster Trump's image ahead of potential future political moves. Nonetheless, they have taken a visibly more cautious approach in recent weeks, reducing public statements about nuclear development, and instead focusing their rhetoric on national sovereignty, anti-imperialism, and the right to peaceful technological advancement. Simultaneously, the drama unfolding in Washington has exposed deep fractures within the American political and intelligence communities. There is growing concern that the leak could have originated from within the very agencies tasked with safeguarding such sensitive data. Whistleblowers, rogue insiders, or foreign espionage possibility is being investigated thoroughly, but the mere existence of the leak has renewed fears of internal instability and weakened oversight mechanisms. White House sources suggest that top-level reviews are underway to assess the integrity of national security protocols, while the Department of Justice prepares for what could become a high-profile legal pursuit. But beyond the immediate legal and political fallout, the broader strategic implications of these events cannot be ignored. If the White House's claims hold true, and Iran's nuclear infrastructure has indeed been crippled, then this moment marks a seismic shift in Middle Eastern power dynamics. With one of the region's most powerful deterrents eliminated, at least temporarily, questions arise about what comes next. Will Iran redouble its efforts in secret? Will other regional actors, like Israel or Saudi Arabia, interpret this development as an opportunity or a threat? And perhaps most critically, what will the United States do to maintain this so-called neutralized status? Adding another layer to this already complex situation is the political theater playing out in the United States itself. Trump's repeated references to this military success are seen by many as part of a broader strategy to reassert his foreign policy credentials, as he positions himself for another potential presidential run. Framing his legacy through the lens of national strength and decisive action remains central to his campaign messaging. It's no coincidence that these claims are surfacing now, at a time when the Republican Party is grappling with internal division and searching for unifying themes ahead of a contentious election cycle. Meanwhile, within the intelligence community, analysts are split. Some agree that the operations described in the leaked documents align with earlier indicators of covert strikes and sabotage campaigns believed to be carried out by U.S. and Israeli forces over the past decade. These include cyber attacks, targeted assassinations of nuclear scientists, and unexplained explosions at key facilities. Others, however, caution against overstatement. They've warned that even if Iran's known infrastructure has been damaged, the country's scientific knowledge and determination remain intact, and rebuilding may only be a matter of time. In the international arena, reactions have been swift but varied. NATO allies have expressed concern over the implications of the leak. with some calling for a unified stance on how to prevent similar breaches in the future. The European Union, long a proponent of diplomatic solutions with Iran, has called for restraint and a renewed focus on multilateral agreements. Russia and China, both of whom maintain strategic partnerships with Iran, have condemned what they describe as destabilizing aggression by the United States, accusing Washington of provoking conflict under the guise of security. The Russian Foreign Ministry released a statement saying, "Unilateral military action without international oversight sets a dangerous precedent. All nations have the right to develop energy solutions, and blanket accusations of weaponization only serve to justify military overreach." This sentiment is echoed in Beijing, where government officials have renewed calls for a return to the joint, a comprehensive plan of action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal, from which the United States unilaterally withdrew in 2018 under Trumpist leadership. Amid this swirl of accusations, threats, and diplomatic statements, the one constant is uncertainty. For all the bold proclamations of success and deterrence, the reality is that Iran's nuclear future remains a deeply unsettled matter. And now, with FBI investigations probing into high-level leaks and international actors watching closely, the path forward is more fraught than ever. Trump's comments have further complicated U.S. relations with both allies and adversaries. His dismissal of diplomatic norms and preference for unilateral action continues to polarize opinion in Washington and abroad. "They won't restart their nuclear program, I can promise you that," he declared during a recent campaign rally, "because they know what will happen if they do. We're not playing games anymore." These remarks, while rousing to his base, have drawn criticism from foreign policy experts who argue that threats alone are not a sustainable strategy. Back in Tehran, Iranian leaders are adopting a posture of strategic ambiguity, while rejecting claims of total destruction. They have not issued direct rebuttals to the most damning specifics of the leaked documents. Instead, their state media emphasizes resilience, national pride, and defiance in the face of external aggression. The supreme leader has framed the incident as a turning point in Iran's resistance narrative, encouraging citizens to remain vigilant and unified. For everyday citizens in both Iran and the United States, these developments offer little comfort. In Tehran, there are renewed whispers of military escalation and fears of economic sanctions tightening further. In Washington, concerns about transparency, accountability, and the balance between security and civil liberties are rising. The specter of a government willing to strike unilaterally and then silenced internal dissent through aggressive prosecution is deeply troubling to many observers. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the events surrounding this leak, the statements from the White House, and Donald's bold declarations have reshaped the discourse on Iran's nuclear threat. Whether this marks the beginning of a new era of deterrence or the prelude to further conflict remains to be seen. But with every passing day, the stakes grow higher, and the world watches with bated breath.